So the biggest thing is STEM allows for that opportunity for kids to just get excited about trying to make something new. A lot of times, those inventions solve a real world problem. And so a lot of, facing a lot of textbook problems and story problems can be very fictitious, very not real. And so when we do authentic challenges, whether it's in a STEM classroom, an official STEM class, or whether it's just in any classroom, a history, a social studies, a literacy, a foreign language, a math, a science classroom, you can make an authentic question, solving an authentic problem. Maybe it's a problem in your school, maybe it's a problem in your community, but we got to get kids to that point where they'll actually solve problems, not just talk about problems, and then at the same time, they can start to iterate, and they start to, just like you write a rough draft and you keep revising it in your English class, you're making something and then you keep making it better until you got that final product that, whether it ends up being something amazing in the world, it becomes a patent, or whether it's just something that solves a simple problem in your school. Both of those things, it's the hands-on, it's the nuts and bolts, it's what makes STEM relevant and not just robots and rockets and high expensive stuff for a classroom. So often what really helps education click for a kid, so often it's a family, somebody behind that kid that showed them the value of education. And sometimes it doesn't matter what kind of economic strata you come from. When parents, when family members say education is valuable and that's what's going to take you to the next level, and not just take you to a level to be rich and famous, but to take you to a level where you can do a job, a career that you really just love, that's so incredible. And parents sometimes are hesitant about STEM because they've heard the acronym and they think about, oh, there's high-tech stuff and I don't understand, rocket science, and I don't understand, what these 3D printer things are, but a parent doesn't have to know all that stuff. STEM at home can be as simple as, making dinner together and baking bread and even just changing the ingredients slightly in a cookie recipe. And seeing how that affects things. It can be as simple as grabbing some biographies of some great scientists throughout history and through now even, instead of just whatever other books you're reading with your kids. We tell parents to read to their kids. We should do STEM with our kids, and take them to a museum, go outside for a walk, count all the birds you see. Learn some new skill together. I taught my daughter how to change the battery in her car when the battery went dead. But I didn't do it. I showed her this. I said, here's the steps. You do this. I held the flashlight. She changed the battery. Those are the types of things that parents, if they would understand it, it's as simple as that. Just do something fun with your kids. Our kids need those family members, those support people to do more with them. Don't just let that kid sit on a phone, a tablet, a device. Do something with, play a game, put a puzzle together. It doesn't matter what you do something with your kids, it's going to make all the difference. I tell you what, just recently we got new 3D printers at our school. And so we got these glue sticks that help the print to come off when the print is done. And so all the glue sticks are kind of laying around on the table next to all the printers. And so I challenged one of the kids. I said, hey, could you create something that we could hold that glue stick right on the side of the printer? And so he started trying, and he created something, and it kind of worked, but it was the wrong size. Adjusted it a little bit more, and printed it again. 8 iterations later, he finally got one that finally works. He's got them now on all of our 3D printers, stuck to this side. Now another kid is making a holder for the scraper, the spatula that gets all the the leftover pieces off. But I took all those 7 iterations that didn't work, and I put them on display in my room with a sign above it with the definition of iteration. Those kids are able to make something and then keep making it better. That's the simplest definition of engineering. When you make something and you make it better, you design and you refine. And engineers and scientists and people all around the world, even small business startups, people are doing that each and every day. And I want my kids to say, I see a need, I can fill a need. I see something that we could make, and I want to make that. And not just say, how can I just consume what's already out there? I want to be a creator. Invention, and when you add a little bit of that, whether it's an actual classroom project and you say, let's all invent something for solving this problem, whether it's a problem in your community or your school, or if you just say, hey, how can we just make something better? Or if you challenge one kid to fix something in your classroom, or make your classroom, if you're a teacher, a spot where innovation happens, and those kids are going to begin to innovate on their own. What I love most about teaching is just the fact that I get to help kids. I get to help inspire them, and that's why I don't want to leave the classroom. I always want to be there for those kids. I want to help them. I want to keep them just finding those things that their interests that lead to passions, that lead to careers, that lead to opportunities, and I don't want to give that up. And at the same time too, I love to be there for other teachers who are saying, how can I find these ways to connect and get kids engaged in my classroom? And it's tough sometimes, and we need to learn from each other, and I learn from so many other people too. So I'm willing to do all those little bit of extra things so that I can help other teachers, because if I can help other teachers, that's going to help more kids too get excited about the learning, get excited about the STEM education, and just whatever we can do, it helps those kids. That's why I keep doing it.